Hello everybody, hola people, it's time for story. I'm reading from Women Who Run with the Wolves, and we continue on. Love you, Lilith. It is into this fundamental, elemental and essential relationship that we were born, and that in our essence we are also derived from the wild woman archetype. She's the alpha matrilinear being. There are times when we experience her, even if only fleetingly, and it makes us mad with wanting to continue. For some women, this vitalizing taste of the wild comes during pregnancy, during nursing their young, during the miracle of change in oneself as one raises a child, during attending to a love relationship as one would attend to a beloved garden. A sense of her also comes through the vision, through sights of great beauty. I have felt her when I see what we call in the woodlands a Jesus God sunset. I have felt her move in me from seeing the fishermen come up from the lake at dusk with lanterns lit, and also from seeing my newborn's baby's toes all lined up like a row of sweet corn. We see her where we see her, which is everywhere. She comes to us through sound as well, through music, which vibrates the sternum, excites the heart. It comes through the drum, the whistle, the call, and the cry. It comes through the written and the spoken word. Sometimes a word, a sentence, or a poem, or a story is so resonant, so right, it causes us to remember, at least for an instant, what substance we are really made of, and where is our true home. These transient tastes of the wild come during the mystique of inspiration. Ah, there it is. Oh, now it has gone. The longing for this wildish relationship, the longing comes when one realizes one has given scant time to the mystic cook fire or to the dream time, too little time to one's own creative life, one's life work, or one's true loves. Yet it is these fleeting tastes which come both through beauty as well as loss that cause us to become so bereft, so agitated, so longing that we eventually must pursue the wildish nature. Then we leap into the forest or into the desert. Cheers. Where were we? Or into the snow and run hard, our eyes scanning the ground, a hearing sharply tuned, searching under, searching over, searching for a clue, a remnant, a sign that she still lives, that we have not lost our chance. And when we pick up her trail, it is typical of women to ride hard to catch up, to clear off her desk, clear off the relationship, clear out one's mind, turn to a new page, insist on a break the rules, stop the world, for we are not going on without her any longer. Once women have lost her and then found her again, they will content to keep her for good. Once they have regained her, they will fight and fight hard to keep her, for with her their creative lives blossom, their relationships gain meaning and depth and health, their cycles of sexuality, creativity, work and play are re-established. They are no longer marks for the predations of others. They are entitled equally under the laws of nature to grow and to thrive. Now their end of the day fatigue comes from satisfying work and endeavors, not from being shut up into small a mindset, job or relationship. They know instinctively when things must die and when things must live. They know how to walk away, they know how to stay. When women reassert their relationship with the wildish nature, they are gifted with a permanent and internal watcher, a knower, a visionary, an oracle, an inspiratrice, an intuitive, a maker, a creator, an inventor, and a listener who guides, suggests, and urges vibrant life in the inner and outer world. When women are close to this nature, the fact of that relationship glows through them. This wild teacher, wild mother, wild mentor supports their inner and outer lives no matter what. So the word wild here is not used in its modern pejorative sense, meaning out of control, but in its original sense, which means to live a natural life, one in which a creature, has innate integrity and healthy boundaries. These words, wild and woman, cause women to remember who they are and what they are about. They create a metaphor to describe the force which funds all females. They personify a force that women cannot live without. The wild women archetype can be expressed in other terms, which are equally apt. You can call this powerful psychological nature the instinctive nature, but wild woman is the force which lies behind that. You can call it the natural psyche, but the archetype of the wild woman stands behind that as well. You can call it the innate, the basic nature of women. You can call it the indigenous, the intrinsic nature of woman. In poetry, it might be called the other, or the seven oceans of the universe, or the far woods, or the friend. In various psychologies and from various perspectives, it would perhaps be called the ID, the self, the medial nature. In biology, it would be called the typical or fundamental nature, but because it is tacit, prescient, and visceral, among cantadores it is called the wiser knowing nature. It is sometimes called the woman who lives at the end of time, or the woman who lives at the edge of the world. And this creatura is always a creator hag, or a death goddess, or a maiden in descent, or any number of other personifications. She is both friend and mother to all those who have lost their way, all those who need a learning, all those who have a riddle to solve, all those out in the forest or the desert wandering and searching. In actuality, in the psychoid unconscious, an ineffable layer of psyche from which this phenomenon emanates, wild woman has no name, for she is so vast. But since this force engenders every important facet of womanliness, here on earth she is named many names, not only in order to peer into the myriad aspects of her nature, but also to hold on to her, because in the beginning of retrieving a relationship with her, she can turn to smoke. In an instant, by naming her, we create for her a territory of thought and feeling within us. Then she will come, and if valued, she will stay. So in Spanish, I call her Rio abajo Rio, the river beneath the river. La mujer grande, the great woman. Luz del abismo, the light from the abyss. La loba, the wolf woman. Or la huesera, the bone woman. She is called in Hungarian Ő, Erdöben, she of the woods. In Rossomak, the wolverine. In Navajo, she is a Naashyeyi Atsta, the spider woman, who weaves the fate of humans and animals, and plants and rocks. In Guatemala, among many other names, she is Humana del Niebla, the mist being, the woman who has lived forever. In Japanese, she is Amaterasu Omikami, the Numina, who brings a light or consciousness. In Tibet, she is called Dakini, the dancing force which produces clear seeing within women, and it goes on. She goes on. The comprehension of this wild woman nature is not a religion but a practice. It is a psychology in its truest sense. Psyche, psyche, soul, ology or logos, a knowing of the soul. Without her, women are without ears to hear her soul talk or to register the chiming of their own inner rhythms. Without her, women's inner eyes are closed by some shadowy hand, and large parts of their days are spent in a semi-paralyzing ennui or else wishful thinking. Without her, women lose the sureness of their soul footing. Without her, they forget why they are here, they hold on when they would best hold out. Without her, they take too much or too little or nothing at all. Without her, they are silent when they are in fact on fire. She is their regulator. She is their soulful heart, the same as the human heart that regulates the physical body. When we lose touch with the instinctive psyche, we live in a semi-destroyed state, and images and powers that are natural to the feminine and not allowed for development. When a woman is cut away from her basic source, she is sanitized, and her instincts and natural life cycles are lost, subsumed by the culture or by the intellect or the ego, one's own or those belonging to others. Wild woman is the health of all women. Cheers. Without her, women's psychology makes no sense. This wilder woman is the prototypical woman. No matter what culture, no matter what era, no matter what politics, she does not change. Her cycles change. Her symbolic representations change. But in essence, she does not change. She is what she is, and she is whole. She canalizes through women. If they are suppressed, she struggles upward. If women are free, she's free. Fortunately, no matter how many times she is pushed down, she bounds up again. No matter how many times she is forbidden, quelled, cut back, diluted, tortured, taught as unsafe, dangerous, mad, and other derogations, she emanates upward in women, so that even the most quiet, even the most restrained woman keeps a secret place for her. Even the most repressed woman has a secret life with secret thoughts and secret feelings, which are lush and wild, that is natural. Even the most captured woman guards the place of the wildish self, for she knows intuitively that someday there will be a loophole, an aperture, a chance, and she will hightail it to escape. I believe that all women and men are born gifted. However, and truly there has been little to describe the psychological lives and ways of gifted women, talented women, creative women. There is, on the other hand, much writ about the weakness and foibles of humans in general and women in particular. But in the case of the wild woman archetype, in order to fathom her, apprehend her, utilize her offerings, we must be more interested in the thoughts, feelings, and endeavors which strengthen women and adequately count the interior and cultural factors which weaken women. In general, when we understand the wildish nature as a being in its own right, one which animates and informs a woman's deepest life, then we can begin to develop in ways never thought possible. A psychology which fails to address this innate spiritual being at the center of a feminine psychology fails women and fails their daughters and the daughters' daughters far into all future maternal lines. So in order to apply a good medicine to the hurt parts of the wildish psyche, in order to a right relationship to the archetype of the wild woman, one has to name the disarrays of the psyche accurately. While in many clinical professions we do have a good diagnostic statistical manual and a goodly amount of differential diagnoses, as well as psychoanalytical parameters which define psychopathy through the organization or lack of it in the objective psyche and the ego self axis. There are yet other defining behaviors and feelings which, from a woman's frame of reference, powerfully describe what is the matter. What are some of the feeling tone symptoms of a disrupted relationship with the wildish force in the psyche? To chronically feel, think or act in any of the following ways is to have partially severed or lost entirely the relationship with a deep instinctual psyche. Using women's language exclusively, these are feeling extraordinarily dry, fatigued, frail, depressed, confused, gagged, muzzled, unaroused, feeling frightened, halt or weak without inspiration, without animation, without soulfulness, without meaning, shame-bearing, chronically fuming, volatile, stuck, uncreative, compressed, crazed, feeling powerless, chronically doubtful, shaky, blocked, unable to follow through, giving one's creative life over to others, life-sapping choices in mates, work or friendship, suffering to live outside one's own cycles, overprotective of self, inert, uncertain, faltering inability to pace oneself or set limits. That's it for today. Cheers, my wild women, my wolverinas, and wonderful men of the world. See you tomorrow. Story time.